Okay. Alright, I haven't even looked at today's game yet, so let's take a quick look what's happening. I know that they made a draw. Okay. Very nice, F5, beautiful. That's a draw. Very, very solid draw. I would not be surprised if, yes. I would not be surprised if a lot of this, a lot of moves from this line was home cooked. So, not really much to go over this game. That was a game where black, e4 is very popular in English opening. So this line must have been looked at. There is no way you miss this line in the prep. Hello, Mr. Victor God. So, yeah, this line that they played today, you have to look, you have to analyze. I'm pretty sure they played at least 20 something moves according to the engine analysis. I think the whole end game was engine analysis. Rook h6 was pretty engine move, and then rook c5, rook a5, just that sequence smacks of the engine plan. Hello, Mr. Roy. Alright, so where are the games? Where are the challenges? I don't see any challenges. Where are the challenges, guys? Come on, let's do a Simul. Nothing much. I did a recap today of the last game. That was a real struggle. So if you guys want to check the recap from game 9, which was Spanish, which featured that crazy attack by Nepo, then counter something by Dink. I'm not sure about the counter, but it was a great defense try. And it was an amazing game. There was actually some lines, with the queen sacrifice, which were pretty bloody amazing and reminds me of the Kaspar versus Karpov match. Unfortunately, they're like on the sideline, but I'm pretty sure the players saw something like that. You waited 2 hours? Why would you wait 2 hours? I usually start my simuls at 9:30. European time. You already watched it? Ah, okay. What do you mean you don't know? Okay, now you know. Alright, so thankfully all that mess is behind us. We can get back to chess and just streaming and doing simuls and good things. Hello, Mr. Ivanov, good evening. Alright, in honor of this yesterday's game between Nepo and Dink, we're gonna play Spanish. And we're gonna play Berlin. Okay. How can you get a challenger? Oh, you gotta go to the new game, make sure it's standard. Click instead of custom, click here. Now you choose your time, which is 45-45, or make custom control 60-60. Then you choose your opponents, type in my name, choose your color, make sure it's not rated, and then hit play. And that's how you challenge me, okay? pretty simple. All right. Rookie 1, Mr. Roya. This is very symmetrical, very solid move. All right, not bad. But you don't take it. You take on e5 first, because you're threatening knight takes e6 with check to win the queen, so you can actually have the tempo. And then you save this bishop. You need the Spanish bishop. You have huge disrespect for your bishop, man. That's terrible. This bishop is called Spanish bishop. You don't give him away unless it is absolutely necessary. All right. The Spanish bishop is, my God. Okay. So, don't have any challenges. Let me reload the game. Okay, no challenges yet. Because now Blanc has pair of bishops. Very comfortable game. And, you know, you're supposed to fight for an advantage with white in the opening. A little bit at least. Okay. Don't play for a draw. Alright? Mr. Punctually Ferrand, good evening. So, Mr. Steinkel, you know how to do the challenge now, yes? Nakamura said that Yan and Dijen, he would have beat him without preparation. All I can say is I wish you good luck to beat these guys without preparation. That's probably the funniest thing he said in a long time. Mr. Robato, how are you, man? Thank you for subscribing. 35 months, that's a lot. Can somebody write down the first steps of being a challenger? What do you mean, write down? I just mentioned it. Mr. Dillmont, welcome back. Dude, you go to new game and you pick the choices here. There's nothing complicated. Fritz the cat is punked Ferrand. You challenge me. Okay. Excellent. Let me play Mr. Fritz the cat. Okay, b3. All right, makes sense. So how shall we respond? f6, 94, c5. c5 looks pretty normal. If I want to put the bishop here, 94 bishop e6 also look pretty normal. I kind of need to get rid of this guy. This guy is really getting on my nerves. So let's play 94. Mr. Fritz the cat, what exactly are you doing? f6. Trying to play 5. But after d5. You have school tomorrow? Okay. You're trying Hippo. Hippo is played without f6. Hippo is played with g6, e6, bishop g7. It's always like, you know, fianchetto your bishops. Keep the pawns c7, d6, e6. Knights on e7, knight d7. And you don't close your bishop diagonal. Okay, that's how you play Hippo. Hello, Mr. Tiranmao. Alright, Mr. Robato. Let's play some moves. Let me get some chocolate. All right. So many Germans. Ding. Will he win at least one more game? Pretty sure he will be. Thank you FB3i for subscribing. Tier 1, thank you very much. Yeah, we're playing Lopez today. I'm not sure where the bishop should go, so I'll just hide him for now. So, more challenges. Alright, these guys, raise your hand, who are you? Who is Burak Yildirmim and who is Silvius Grotius? I need to know who you are because, you know, this is Simul for the my subscribers. Oh. Okay. So, knight here. The question, do I want to keep my knight or not? Probably I kind of want to keep my knight. At the same time, pair of bishops is pretty bloody good argument. My bishop on e7 kind of is not so great, yeah. Well, I kind of want to keep this knight, but then you play knight f4, try to go to the square, might be annoying. Alright, let's see what you want to do. I just want to sort of avoid a lot of trouble. Alright, so once again, I see a challenge from Mr. named Burak Ildir Rim. Can you raise your hand in the chat so I know who you are? Knight of 6. Okay. Probably bishop a4. In case you decide to trade my bishop, I can move my bishop. So once again, for those of you who haven't seen yet, the recap of game 9, not today's game, but game 9, the fantastic struggle in this in the Spanish Berlin, it was pretty bloody amazing. So I'm covering it in my recap, and that's the link. Alright, fine. Now we can develop the bishop. And try sort of some weird things here. It will be not easy to break through White's defensive structure, but then again, you know, if you get this position from the opening with black, it's really good. So the question, take or not, yeah, because this might be very serious weakness. You know what, we're gonna just play e4 and let you play e5. Okay. A5 is probably not that great. We might consider playing this. So A5 is actually not so bad. Protecting the bishops, preparing central pawn push. Okay. This prepares some tricks, I guess. Yeah, there are always some tricks, so let's play bishop g6 just in case. Make sure we protect everything. If I play d4, there can be some bishop g4. So let's play knight d2, bring the Spanish knight to his regular post. Okay. So we have a total of 4 games in the Simul right now. Let's see if there'll be more people to join us for the weekly Simul event. So 96 is that threats. Okay, is it really big threats? Can I try to trap this knight? Damn. So I misplayed it, yeah? So you managed to equalize. You managed to equalize. I'm looking at queen d5, knight b7, rook b8 to c5, but it doesn't look like it's enough, yeah. It doesn't look like it's enough. It's very, very interesting, of course, because I have like stuff like c5, bishop e8, bishop c6, but you play e4, bishop c3. If I just play queen c8, which is a very, very passive move, I run a risk. You play that, b6, knight e6, bishop d6, but and then queen f3, queen d7, queen g4, k8. This is very, very messy, but let's try it for the sake of the argument. Okay, bishop h4. Okay, so bishop e6 looks good. Let's try to minimize the damage from knight d5. You would play king b7. You don't know what to do, but you play a little move that looks good. Okay, that's fine. That's called your intuition. No training examples for the hippo. Well, I would kind of disagree, because Mr. Panktilefiran, what you can do on chess.com, you can do the opening exploration thing. Okay, there is an opening explorer sort of thing that allows you to look at the moves that happen in a lot of games here. Okay, and then see what kind of games were played. That's how actually I want to talk about it. That's, you know, I wanted to talk about how people found out about the preparation that was done by Ding and Rapport. Some smart people input the rook a2 move from the Nimzo game by Ding Liren, and then from some other game, the home prep move, they put those positions into Lichess and chess.com and searched for any games that had these two moves. And they discovered that there were some anonymous players, knight e6. They discovered some anonymous players who practiced it. It happened only like a couple of games, and they found that the same guys on Lichess, those anonymous accounts who played these games, they also played same prep that Ding used in other games. So that's how they figured that was Ding versus Rapport. So knight g7, queen g5, queen f6 is a huge threat. Fine, let's check your endgame skills. So that was a kind of very strange leak, okay? It's kind of very strange. The length that people will go, you know, just to discover who played these lines, you know. The only purpose of this, okay, maybe they just wanted to see how many games were there, but then they went further and they sort of discovered the players, yeah, and their secret names. That's kind of weird, man. But Mr. Roya, why are you playing so fast? Ah, because you need to sleep. Yeah, I got it. Okay, I remember. Because you just gave me the pawn on a3, yeah? For no reason. Only master games are given. Do you think masters play an anonymous account a lot? Sure. Mr. Behold, sure, they played a lot on the anonymous accounts. I mean, I had some anonymous accounts. Because you want to test some openings which you normally don't play. Okay. So, sure. Actually, it was the thing in the past. Like a lot of grandmasters would play on anonymous accounts. Guys like, I think like Naka and others, they would have up to 3 different anonymous accounts on ICC. This allows b4. So you need to play a5 before you do that, okay? So let's bring the king. We'll play c6 first. And now we go and grab this pawn, yeah? And we grab it. There's no way for you to avoid this. I cannot play b4. There's no rush. The rook is extremely passive. Once I play rook c4, king c5, then this pawn will be extremely dangerous. So rook c4. So Mr. Roya, you had the playable endgame, but then you just gave me a whole pawn for nothing. And that was the cause of your downfall. Extremely naive from Ding Report to use the public chess sites? Not really. I mean, how would they expect that there was some investigators, amateur sleuths, who would go to this length to discover their preparation? Yeah. There is check, by the way. So that's a GG, Mr. Roya. No GG. Okay. But it looks like GG. Alright, go to sleep, Anne. Good luck. Good luck tomorrow. Okay. Playing endgame against me is a suicide? Not really. Why would it be a suicide? You practice endgame skills. Look always at this like, you're practicing something. You either practice opening part, you're practicing your calculation, you're practicing middle game, transitioning, or, a lot of things to practice. Right, okay, what is this? What is this? This is a mess, yeah? I think g5 is okay here. c6. That's fine. I'll take the knight. Do you have to open chess.com? Nothing happens? What do you mean to open chess.com? What do you mean? Go to new game. Do you get this menu? You should get this menu, okay? Unless you're playing from the mobile, which I have no idea. And then you pick, there is this custom button, okay? This little custom button, you have to click on this little custom button. Okay? Because the custom button will allow you to get all those options. So new game, and then everything is there, okay? So, I don't know. A lot of people managed to get it. Again, new game, click on the options, and don't forget to click on the custom button, okay? Pretty important. No have laptop. Nothing happens on your games. Do you see this custom button? Yes, no? It's right below the play thing. It's right below the play button. So you click on the custom button, okay? Click on the custom button, then you get all this stuff. Okay? You find it? I feel like a tech support for chess.com. Oh my god. I think they have to pay me for being a tech support sometimes. I'm just kidding. Alright, rook b1. Let's not close the b5 thing because we might take on c5 some point. Okay. Yeah, f6 is like, man. Now that you have sort of close position, you can survive maybe. But before then it was pretty awful. Alright, what am I missing? What books about the middle game had I read? Not many. You know, when I was playing chess, there were not that many books. There were some books, but the best middle game study I had was just analyzing my games. I was playing a lot, like really a lot. I was playing opens, I was playing closed tournaments, I was playing Swiss tournaments. You know, there was always a tournament somewhere to play. In the US, the first year we came to the US, we had zero money. So we had to travel to the open tournaments and try to win prizes. So obviously, you know, you had to get good to sustain that way. Texas Beats, what's up, man? You give me white. Alright, let's play d4 today. Again, the best way to study is like you actually have to go there and start playing over the board games and learn from them. Yeah, because every time you play the opening, you have to look at it after the game. And every time you do that, you learn something. There is no big secret to improving. Good. How are you, Mr. Texas Speed? Hotlines are a mess. Okay. Alright, bishop e7. I am curious. But that's probably not good, yeah. Alright, so bishop probably has to go to e2 in this position. And then we're gonna go for this something crazy probably, yeah. Knight b3 looks okay. I don't want to play knight f3 because that allows bishop g4 pin. Annoying as heck. So let's play this. Fritz the cat allows knight h4, so let's do that. Finally, we're creating a threat, Mr. Fritz the cat. Thanks to your f6 pawn. Also, knight on h4 is pretty standard in King's Indian structure because you're hitting these important squares. Because black wants to play f5. And potentially you're opening the door for your f4 pawn to move and challenge black's center. Alright, hello Mr. Checkmates. Alright, Mr. Staying Cool, have you figured out how to do the challenge yet? Videos on chess.com you guys like? Alright guys, if you want I can talk to them and we can do more videos, I don't mind. I don't know, I mean like, do you really want to have more videos on chess.com? I mean, I can talk to chess.com and they're gonna pay me anyway for making a video, and it's pretty damn short. So I'm pretty okay with doing some videos. Okay. So the question now, I see a lot of people playing just h4 here, just like, in the King's Indian. Yeah. Except that here the King's Indian is, the bishop on e7 is way better than on g7, yeah. But I'm curious, so let's test this theory. Let's play h4 anyway. You send the challenge. Are you Vittori Ank? Okay, great. Wow, you guys give me a lot of whites today. You can pick white also, right? You don't have to give me whites all the time. All right, let's test your knowledge of this beginning. Attack on the king side. Well, it's actually kind of more complex than that. It's the space grab. Because if you have more space, you can... Vittori Young, you have to make 2 moves. Or game gets aborted in 30 seconds. Okay, c6, good. Sometimes, you're going aggressive just, to get the territory, yeah? Don't necessarily have to attack. It's a bit aggressive for sure, but, for good cause. Now the question, can I just go f4 or something? The problem with g3 is that he can play bishop h3. I don't know, but f4 looks kind of very interesting. Very, very interesting. At the same time, he can take and play g5, and despite all that weird pawn structure, that fork is kind of unpleasant. But then I have knight g6, h6, queen h8, knight h6, bishop moves. But my queen is kind of trapped. Is it? Yeah, it is kind of trapped, yeah. So let's calculate f4, take on f4, bishop f4, g5, queen h5, king d7, knight g6, queen e8, then knight f8, bishop moves. So h6, queen h8, knight h6. My bishop is hanging. I can play queen h7 first to stop queen h7, right? So, and then king has to go somewhere. Ah, okay. King e8, queen takes g6. Queen e7, I can take queen e7. Okay, so it works. Let's do that. f4. Immediately challenge this. Okay. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So take on g5, take on d5. There's so many ways to play this position. It's not funny at all. Not funny at all. H5, bishop g5, knight e4, trick doesn't work. Bishop d5, then pawn takes. Then you got queen f3 coming. So knight d4, knight d4, c3, knight f5, queen f3. And you probably recapture the missing piece, yeah? If I take on t5 immediately, you just d5, nothing special. But if I take on d5 here, take, here, there. That is extremely interesting. My god, it's a mess. It's a mess, man. I have knight b8, queen f3, knight d7, you have bishop b5, c6, dc6, queen a5 check, king moves. I take on b5. That's like an extra piece now. So I can play knight d7, except that take on b5, take on d7, knight d7, take on f6, knight f6, queen f6. Yeah, so okay, so it seems I can take this, yeah? So it should be okay. So bishop f5, you can take on d5. And I was talking about e4 first and then g5, because if you play g5 immediately, you sort of just give me this pawn for no reason, because I give you this immediate check. Okay. So I'm not sure what was your idea. Bishop usually belongs here, so let's put the bishop there. All right, let's see if I missed something. No, it's actually easier. See only this board for the clicks on your monitor. There is nothing for me to click on. What was wrong with bishop f2 versus Rubato? First of all, he can play king f2, knight g4, queen g4, knight e4, d4, queen g5, knight c7, and then probably it's okay actually, yeah. And then he has to play knight e6, f e6. Yeah, you're correct. Probably it's okay. But I was also kind of afraid of king f1, because if he takes on d5, take on d5, then I have to play, and then you have bishop h4, yeah? Take on h4, rook h4, take on c6, and then knight g4, queen f6. Yeah, bishop f2 is probably also okay. But I don't think bishop d5 is bad. Ah, okay, I see what you mean. It's kind of very interesting, yeah? Because if queen f3, then knight d4, queen f6, bishop f6, then I have rook h6. I still have a lot of material, yeah? So queen f3 doesn't really work. And if e d5, knight b8, queen f3, knight b d7, and then just, you know, closing the bishop and saving the extra piece. I don't know, it looks easier to me than all this. All right, queen b3, there is some queen c7 or something. Okay, let's see it. GG. All right, Mr. Punctually Ferran. Yes, Mr. Fritz the Cats, if you want to play Hippo, you play again g6, bishop g7, and you put the pawn on e6. Don't touch f pawn or c pawn. I mean f pawn. C pawn you can touch later, but you know, g6, bishop g7, e6, b6, bishop b7. Basically, worry about fianchetting your bishop first, and then after you've fianchetted your bishops, you develop your knights on d7 and e7. And after that, you start thinking whether to play h6, a6, or to play c5, but you almost never play f5. You can play e5 later. Yeah? That's the whole point about Hippo, because you lose the tempo. Because first you play e6, and then you have to play e5 at some point. Yeah, that's the only problem, pretty much with Hippo. And also the knights are pretty passive. But there is also an alternative, because if you have e6, h6, and then you play g5, f5, then you get sort of this Dutch structure, which is very, very tricky. It's quite playable, actually. But tricky, okay? All right, we got challenges from Mr. Chiron Mao and Mr. Polpil, so let's start the games. No, for a lot of people it's easy actually to calculate with your eyes closed because then you can visualize the board in your mind and it becomes clear. It's kind of weird, but it's like, you know, the thing. It actually helps you because your eyes see a lot of things. There is so much distractions for your eyes, yeah? But once you close your eyes and you focus on the board, there is only board. So that's why a lot of players, they look at the ceiling, they walk around and see the position in their mind because it helps them. Because when you're sitting with your open eyes and there's an opponent in front of you, your eyes are gonna like instinctively move up and down. Up to your opponent, down to the board. You also see with your side vision, like something's going on there. You know, there's a lot of distraction going on. All right, so we got two moves here. Let's make the game with Mr. Polpil. All right, so let's do some cool Sicilian. Knight c6. All right, bishop b5. Okay, so let's go e6. I don't like this move much, but it's like probably the best move. Against bishop b5, then we get into the structure, yeah? My god, I hate the structure. I hate the structure. Alright, Mr. Nefedov, you already played one online Simul today, you'll be playing OTB tomorrow. Oh, OTB. That's awesome, dude. Good luck. OTB is very, very important. You guys hear that? He plays in the OTB events. It's also a lot more fun than just playing online. You have to invest, you know, your time and energy to actually move to the club and play the game. But, you know, this chess setting where you play along with other people, there's ticking the clocks, you know, you see everybody focusing. It's actually pretty helpful and encouraging for your chess. You know, you don't feel like you're alone in this thing. And then there is always, you know, this kind of judging the level, right? You walk along the boards, you check the list of the players, you see approximately where you are and where everybody else is. Okay, bishop d5. Right. So we come to this. We come to this, and you're probably correct. I don't have any choice actually, because I don't have knight b8 now, yeah. There is king f8, king g7. It looks kind of weird, but there is such a thing, yeah. King f8, king g7, then rook h6, which is pretty practical. But if you take on f2, king f2, knight e4, d4, queen g5, it's equal material. White gets this very nice bishop on t5, but the king is open, so black should be okay, yeah. But it looks kind of weird. I don't know. For some reason, it looks kind of weird. That bishop on d5 is very, very strong. So I'm more like tempted to play king f8, king g7, than still very unpleasant pin. Yeah. I really don't like it. There's also knight d4 e6 idea actually. Challenging this bishop in this way actually may be a pretty interesting idea. Maybe pretty interesting idea. But yeah, the pawn on b7 will be gone. It's not great. Okay, dilemma, yeah. Okay, fine, I guess we go for the safe way to play this. Knight always goes to g6, castles. Okay. Alright, so g4 immediately or bishop e3 first, I wonder. What's better to play? Also just h5 is very interesting, yeah. But okay, let's go g4. And now we play here f6. Pretty standard, a3. Queen e7, e5, queen for 2 pieces. But he gets like queen and some pawns, no? Maybe 1 pawn, but still. No, 3 minor pieces. You need the squares for the pieces to compensate for the queen and the pawn. So I kind of wouldn't go with that. You know what, I'm gonna play here, g5 looks very logical. Probably the best move actually in this position. Probably g5 actually is the best move, but I was thinking why not play h5 and just stop f5 completely. There is some bishop trades which might be unpleasant, and then I have that bishop though. Yeah, okay. Fine, let's play g5. Mr. in New York City React, I kind of think anybody can do that, to be honest. Just takes practice, man. Everything takes practice, that's all. Alright, so let's go c5. We're not gonna go for this b6, e5 plan. Although b6, e5, especially when you have bishop on d3 and bishop on f4, e5, e4 is always very, very tempting for black, okay? Be very careful when you have bishops like this. That's why I usually either play bishop h2 or play bishop e2. Okay. So now we can play e5 actually. Which is an extremely interesting move, but also can play d5 here. I don't see a problem with that. And then we grab the center. And then it's like Nimzo game, right guys? Remember? Reverse colors. Dink played a5, rook a7. This is like very close to the structure. You recognize it? If you reverse the colors, right? Same idea. That's why in the structure black plays this line a lot. But e5, rook a7 here would be kind of nuts. Actually makes sense. Alright. I'm sorry it didn't work for you. Hopefully it works next time, man. Mr. Stankel. Alright, so this looks pretty equalish, to be honest. Looks pretty equalish, which is fine for me, for black. You really want to sort of equalize out of the opening. Pretty normal. Alright, d3. It's fine. Then I wanted to play e5 here and not allow this e5. I mean, white often plays e5 to try to lock this pawn so this bishop doesn't come out, okay? That's the main idea. The whole idea of this line after you take on c6 is to keep this bishop under lock. And that's why white often plays e5, d3, c4, and then this bishop is locked like everywhere, yeah? So if white can play e5, it's a pretty bloody good idea. Okay, centralization, connecting the rooks, etc., etc. Yeah, my knight on b3 kind of sucks, yeah? Let's be honest, knight on b3 should be on f3. But okay, he's doing something. He stops a5, which is not bad. Which is not bad. All right. Everybody thinking. Good. d3, okay. Bishop e7. Or I can try Ding's idea, yeah. a5, rook a7, bishop g4. I don't know, I just want to play bishop e7. I'm not Ding. He prepared this line for quite a while. Yeah, he knows all the ideas here. I'm just seeing this position the second time. One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Equal number of pawns. The only thing about this position which makes me optimistic is that white king lost his castling rights. And he is a bit in the open. Okay. So I'm a bit optimistic about my chances here. Because if I can, obviously I'm going to castle queenside, obviously. And then I'm going to try very, very hard to play f5. And then try to connect the knight and push this bishop out. So one of the big questions for white is like, do you keep the bishop and then play c3 and then something? Because the bishop looks pretty strong still. But then there's also knight e7 f5, and you know the bishop cannot help really king. But he controls some squares. Or you take on c6, yeah. It's a very, very hard decision actually. Because if you take on c6, that basically is saying that, you know, I have no advantage. Maybe I'm a little bit even worse. Yeah, don't allow a5 for sure. Because if you allow a5, then that's knight a4, bishop a3. Here you want to play probably knight f3 anyway. You need this pawn on g5. It really controls huge square on f6. It's a huge square. Very important square. So what white wants to do, he wants to complete this bind. Keep this pawn protected. It's really annoying for black pieces. Black will have to dance around this pawn, which is not going to be very easy. This allows e4 on a lot of lines, actually. But okay, bishop f4 looks very logical. Because you open the c file with the tempo attacking this queen. Pretty big deal, actually. So once the rook gets here, potentially attacking the bishop, because if knight moves. Alright, castles. And black is actually probably already a little bit better here because of this humongous center control. Pair of bishops, potential knight f4, and even followed by g5 and expansion on the king side, yeah. So this looks pretty good for black so far, so I'm pretty happy with my position. And the other important thing is that white knights really don't have strong outposts. The only outpost I see is f5, more or less, but I can probably kick him out even then. But no central outposts. This guy has no outpost because knight controls this, which is why when black plays knight e7, white actually plays knight h4 to meet this knight halfway. That's a pretty common theme. Which position, Mr. Mirrors? Which position we're talking about here? Yeah, just centralize for now. Yeah, okay. So this also allows knight b5, knight c7 idea. I don't know how good is that. Or I can also take on b6, and this is what Rajabov played against me basically. He just played this, and we got this structure which was just painful for me to play. With double pawns like in the Nimzo, in Sicilian this game. No, but if you manage to get something like this with black, it's just perfect. Yeah, obviously black is just a little bit better. But the thing is, like, white has so many ways to counter this. One of the ways was to play early e5, okay, and just hold on to the square. That was just one of the ways to play it. All right, let's castle. We've discussed this. Queen b6, trying to create pressure immediately. And I know that sound somebody used 1,000 bits. Thank you, Mr. Nicholas Tosin. Thank you so much for the cheers, man. Appreciate it very much. And now we can play knight a4 or knight b5. Both moves seem to be pretty solid. I'm a bit curious what I'm gonna do with this guy though. The idea behind knight a4 is that this bishop really doesn't have good squares to go to. And if he goes somewhere, you can potentially have knight c5 and force this pawn to move, which is not good. If you move this pawn, this knight really loses an important support, especially if white managed to play e4 later on. Okay. But the obvious move, of course, to play knight b5 and threaten knight d6, knight c7. But then black plays king d7, and I'm not sure exactly how good is that. I mean, knight d6 still playable, but then you play something like knight g6. Or maybe even just bishop g6, because if I take on b7, knight can be trapped. So, okay, so let's play a normal way. Knight a4, knight h2, okay, and let's protect this guy. So we can play f5, a6, a4, stopping b5. If we can get the lock on the queen side, then we got a free reign to play here. Yes, subscribers can play. It's one of the perks of being my subscriber. Okay. Right, so you're preventing f5, pretty smart. So probably just play knight f4, yeah, and try to improve your pieces. Knight on f4 is better than the knight on g6. Looks good. And we can then potentially use h5. Prepare some g5 maybe. Unsure yet what. Sometimes you can think about playing c4 and switching the targets. Okay, because if c4, then suddenly white this pawn chain, it's gonna get smashed actually, because with the a pawn here, you don't have this protection anymore. So if I start hitting this b3 pawn, at the same time both bishops will open there, yeah, and then I can easily switch to the queen side, which is a good thing. Okay, you're trying to give me this pawn, I guess. Alright, that's a pretty interesting idea. Give up the pawn, but then you have some drawing chances, yeah? Interesting. I don't know. Very interesting idea. I mean, probably, you know what I can do? I can play g5 with the idea if he takes on f4, I take with the g pawn, and then go for the g file aggression. I think that's perfectly playable. What else you can do? You can play, you know what? You can probably even play d4. Take away this key square from this guy, and then also go for the very direct aggression here. But I don't know. I'm very, very tempted when people just decide to give me pawns. So I don't know. Let's go grab this pawn. So rook g1 should be always played pretty much. And now we have this huge dilemma what to do here, yeah? Yeah, because my knight is not that great. But if I take on yeah, but wait, you allow me to take on c6 and mix your pawn structure? I mean, I could have done this long time ago, but really? No. Ah, okay, you take with the queen maybe. And you hit my bishop. Yeah, but okay, if you take with the queen, then I'm happy with it. Alright, do I lose my queen or something? No, I don't lose anything, so let's grab this. Queen e2, okay, but if you play queen e2, then you can't really play knight d2 because I will take this pawn. So knight c6 looks good. Alright, so queen f4 runs into g3, bishop c1, king g2. And if I grab this thing, g4, wow, okay, that should not work. You should probably pretty much immediately play this move. Okay, fine. Yeah, now just queen f4 or something. Queen d3 is also very, very tempting, yeah. Queen d3 is like, oh my god. Then queen c4. Right, queen f4 is good enough. Alright, so finally we managed to eliminate the bishop, which is pretty important bishop, and also obtain a potentially very strong pair of bishops in this position, which is a huge thing for white, obviously. Okay, so bishop e3. All right. Rook c1. Looks okay. Rook on the open file. The bishop here is very strong. So the only thing is, like, both bishops are locked, but my bishop has more potential if I ever get a chance to play e4. But okay, still not easy, you know. Certain advantage, but black has chance to defend this position. So like everything else, whenever you have pair of bishops, so small advantage, you gotta play very slow. and go for the improvement of your position very, very slowly. Okay. Thank you for following. Have any more challenges? Nope. All right. Okay. It's actually very curious. Usually you get this position with knight on f6, but knight on a7 I think is better. Because he protects this guy and he allows for f6, e5 in the future. I don't know how good f6, e5 is, to be honest, because on one hand you close my bishop, you sort of grab some squares control, but you weaken this pawn and potentially you open this bishop. But you also open your own bishop. So this is extremely interesting. I don't know. Sorry. Okay. So knight c7, he is very, very serious about trying to get b5. Apparently he is very serious about this. But I'm very curious what exactly black is gonna do if I play this ridiculous looking move. But it will like completely lock the position though, yeah. But it's like very, very tempting, yeah. Okay, so let's go g6, I don't know. Looks very tempting. Because black pieces are kind of like really without squares at all. So we're threatening to take on h7, open the g file. If we open the g file, it's going to be massive attack, obviously. Get h5, knight h4, knight f5, bishop d3, pile up on the g file, etc., etc. But the problem is, if he plays h6, then I can somehow attack this pawn. I was actually thinking just go on caveman style, just queen d2 and take on h6. That looks very, very scary because black doesn't have bishop f8. No time. And I don't know. Looks kind of weird, man. I was kind of expecting f5. You probably didn't like me to take and then knight gets e4 square, yeah. But that's the general same thing that happens in King's Indian. So instead of knight c7, I think at some point early you could play g6, knight g7, and then f5. Alright, Mr. Logic decided to join us. Good evening, Mr. Logic. Good evening, Mr. Anish. Alright, Mr. Logic. Let's see what you have cooked up for us today. It's probably gonna be knight d4. Let's do the Nimzo way. If I give you a check now. Ah, you're gonna go this way, okay. Alright, let's test bishop b4. I kinda like bishop b4. And then we can play c5, yeah. The BOGO Indian. You know, this is one opening that I've played maybe once or twice in my entire chess career. Was black. It doesn't matter, blitz, rapid, or regular chess. This is extremely rare line for me. I don't play this usually. Alright, so the casts have been made. Black plays f6. He goes for e5. Okay. Alright. So we gotta do what we gotta do, right? Knight h4, bishop g4 makes no sense. He wants to play 5, so probably bishop e3. And then we can play rook e8 and threaten terrible things. Thanks for following. Did I misplay it? I'm not sure actually. Right, so knight c6. e6 or e5. My god, I don't know this line, man. Knight c6 looks logical. Yeah, it's kind of weird, yeah. To use the word logical versus my opponent named Logic. Yes, but then rook h8, no? Mr. Roboto. But if you play king g1, then there is rook g8, yeah, I understand. Yeah, so this g4 move was really not careful, okay? You stop f5, but you open your king and you allow rook h3 infiltration. It's no good. Alright, so what happens after e5? Curious people would like to know. d5, that's what I was afraid of. That's what I was worried about. Alright, so if we go back, yeah, probably was supposed to play a5 first or something, or b6. The whole idea of this line is to hold on to this pawn. That was like the whole point. Alright, let's go e5. And you're pretty much forced to play this, yeah, Mr. Dillman. It's extremely interesting though. Alright, d4, very interesting move. A very interesting move. Actually, very, very interesting. Alright, so if I grab this guy, I get some weaknesses, yeah? Yeah, okay. I guess possible. But c4 looks so ugly. I really hate c4. Rook e8 maybe is really the best choice. I have bishop a3 at some point, spinning stuff, yeah. Okay, good move, Mr. Polpil. Good move. Which makes me realize that I probably just have to take this and prevent all that mess, yeah. Alright, but then rook h4. And we get to this pawn. Dear, I have just discovered a method to improve in online chess. First start playing chess and at the same time use your smartphone, which has an application service. Correct move. Alright, I have little tolerance for the cheaters. Very little tolerance. Good luck trying to use that method for a long time. Okay. Alright, so rook e8. Let's try to trade this guy. So we have actually 4 versus 2 here, but it's double pawns. But I do have weaknesses here. So it's gonna be very complicated. I kind of believe in black's position though. I believe in the black's position here. I have good chances to win this game. The reason why white didn't take on d5 and then play d4 is because then he plays c4, yeah? And bishop blocks this pawn. So that's why he played d4, and I think I had to take on e4. Otherwise he creates this additional weakness. And then this weakness, yeah. So it makes no sense at all. So Mr. Logic is thinking. Alright, queen c7 looks pretty ugly, but there is a reason to this madness. I have to protect this pawn chain. So there is a reason why I play this. Bishop c5 is a very strange move, Mr. Dillman. I thought that knight e4 was pretty automatic choice, but bishop c5, curious. What I'm also curious is that why would you play this move? For example, if I played bishop b3 now and remove my bishop from your pin, but also I start hitting this guy, how would you respond to that? Alright, so let's play knight d4, trade one pair of knights and try to open up this bishop. Mr. Popil, your rook is hanging, sir. I attacked your rook. What are you doing? You know, let's pretend you didn't play this move, okay? So I play rook f8 now, and you move rook back, and then I move back, okay? Because this is definitely not how you want to finish this very interesting game. So I play rook f8, you play rook d1 back, okay? Agreed? Alright, so let's just return to this position, okay? Okay, I got it, Mr. Popil. Thank you, Mr. FB3I, for gifting tier 1 sub to the community. You're very, very generous. Thank you very much. Alright, so a5, yeah. Ah, okay. Okay, but then I'm quite happy with this position. Am I? Yeah, I'm pretty happy. Okay, take on d4, yeah. Bishop d4. So once again, thank you, Mr. B3I, for gifting tier 1 sub. Mr. Ivanov is lurking in the channel, but now suddenly Mr. Ivanov got the sub, and I wonder if Mr. Ivanov gonna join the Simul. He still has about 5 minutes to join the Simul, but I really doubt he is gonna join it. Also, early today you guys had a very rare chance to see Dina Belenka to do the stream in the Russian language. A very rare thing to happen. I am curious who is actually streaming right now. Let me reload this, and in case there are new challenges. Alright, let's accept all the friends requests. Oh, Chiyu is streaming. Cool. Chess Heroes. We have some people playing. Oh, there is this event. I thought it finished. Olympic Esports Series. Right, they playing, yeah. But I'm not playing because, you know, I don't want to take chance from people because I'm not going to play in the final even if I qualify. Why did I get this position switched somehow? Right, Mr. Rubato, thank you for the game. Just a quick go over. Yeah, 94, 96, and I was talking about this option. Apparently is correct. G5 is correct. And so that's what we're talking about, yeah? Take, and bishop f2, which leads to the same position pretty much. Ah, no, it doesn't. Yeah, for some reason I thought knight c7 was dangerous here, but after king d7 you cannot really take this rook because bishop is hanging. But if you take here, then f e6, and there is huge threat of checkmate. So white doesn't have time to grab this rook. That I missed, okay? And now white is worse because you have to play something like this, and then king is way open. Alright, so that's what I didn't see. So white cannot play this, and he has to play something else, and advantage black. And if king f1, you just... king f1 is even not good because of knight d5, knight e3 check. That's also what I missed. Okay, because you take the queen with the tempo. Alright, so bishop f2 was winning. Instead, I played this. After e5, I wanted to play knight b8, actually, which is correct. But then you have c3, a6, correct. Queen e7. Runs into d4. And suddenly this is actually pretty equal. Because of bishop a4, yeah? No, just this bloody pin is extremely annoying. And, wow, okay. Wow, okay, so white is actually better. Alright, so my calculation was wrong. Knight d4 I felt was okay, and here queen g5. Yeah, remember how I told you that you could take on c6 and mess up my position, then just play very defensive, g3, king g2, queen f3. That was probably the way to play, or g3 immediately. You need to play g3, king g2 sort of, okay? Because that's where your king hides, your pawns control some squares. c3 is inaccurate, but g4 is just a clear mistake, okay? This is the losing move. You had to play g3 anyway. All right, Mr. Rubato, that's how things go. All right, how do I do this? Okay, so bishop d4, you're threatening rook e6, I must play king f7. Yeah, g4 was very, very bad, yeah. But okay, no problem. Knight d4, Mr. Logic pushes me to play e5, and I accept. And the idea here was to play b5, okay? Immediately dislodging this knight. Bishop e6. So he is ready for knight e4 at some points. But I don't really understand why I cannot play this. Wait, we got a raid from Chess Dojo. Guys from Chess Dojo, thank you for the raid. Really appreciate it, gentlemen. So the idea is if I play f3, he has a5, b4, and he removes my defender. Makes a lot of sense. Ideally, this bishop should be on e3, so my bishop is really misplaced. he is really misplaced. What else we can do? You know what we can do? We can actually go and try to trade this bishop, because this bishop is pretty bloody strong. So let's do that. Bishop b4. All right. Now, what is this position? Thank you guys again for the raid. Appreciate it. So the whole point, this rook on a4 can sometimes go to c4, and there it will be doing a lot of things. So I'm very tempted to play f5 here, remove this rook from this potential, and then just push the pawns, yeah? So let's do it. So knight goes to a6, pretty standard. Rook f7, h5, also pretty standard. Okay, you hit this, definitely a3. I'm not gonna give you this pawn. And this is very interesting endgame. Very interesting, but I suspect that white is a little bit better. I don't know how much better, but definitely a little better. Again, pair of bishops. Potential strong rook infiltration if this knight goes somewhere, but you know, eventually this knight, or this knight stays, yeah? If this knight stays, then we work around him. We try to hit this guy. Alright, rook e2. We need this rook at the same time. So bishop c7 looks pretty good. But then bishop c5 is possible, yeah. Alright, fine, let's push the pawn, yeah. We have majority. If you have pawn majority somewhere, you gotta push this pawn majority. There is no other way around it. Knight a3, okay. Just a6 because white doesn't have a4. Okay, and the question now is where we put this guy. Yeah. Right, knight c5 looks pretty good still, so let's play knight c5. Knight f8 looks reasonable, and so does this move, yeah. But if you play b3, you give me weakness to attack, which I'm definitely gonna do. Bishop c2, very, very reasonable. So let's play queen b6. And now with the rook on d2, rook on b2 does not look very good, man. That rook looks pretty misplaced in my opinion. But how to use this rook, yeah. Alright, bishop a3 first. I think that's the best way to use this rook. Wait a minute. You just give a bishop for this knight? Fine. Queen takes. Right, and bishop b4. The reason I attack the rook first is that because if you play bishop b4, he can play rook e2 back. But now bishop hits the square, so the rook can't go there. And also bishop is perfect place for the bishop. He protects the weakness, he denies white the chance to attack this weakness. But again, once again, take this critical square under control and protect this pawn. So he wants to play b4. It's a pretty good time to play rook b1. Remove the rook from the potential advance. Yeah, this rook looks stupid, but you know, it's doing something. Okay. So definitely get rid of this guy. Definitely attack this bishop. King f2 was very careless because you're keeping yourself potentially pinned. Like you cannot play rook d1 now, okay? It's pretty big. So bishop c2 back. Your bishop cannot go to f5. And now white has strong pair of bishops, potentially bishop d6, potentially huge attack here. I'm very happy with my position. So the question is, do you play f4, f5 or not? Yeah, it's a good question. All right, so okay, but the question is, if I actually take this knight, is it really good for me? Because his knight gets the c4 square, yeah. Again, this is one of those lines that I'm not very familiar with. But, okay. Let's try to play some logical moves, yeah. Okay, bishop c2 makes sense. You can play c4. We can play queen b6 first. Doesn't probably matter. Let's play queen b6. So we avoid the spin, and we can move this pawn further. Because white has the knight on the rim, okay? Not the greatest knight. Your problem started with bishop f8. You wanted to put the bishop on g7. I kind of think your problem started actually later. Yeah, you know, there is thematic, very thematic sacrifice. Wait, I'm just... Okay, what is this? There is, if you play knight e4 and thematically sacrifice this knight for the bishop on c2, you give up a pawn, but you get, in return, you get strong pair of bishops and huge compensation, because you get open files and open diagonals for your bishops. Okay, so I think that was pretty good way to play that position. All right, if you allow me to play e4, definitely play e4, for sure. G5, okay. So he's trying to create some stuff here. The question, should I play h3 or... h3 is logical. Creating a luft, taking the square under control. Whether or not f5 loses here, you have to play it. You're absolutely correct, Mr. Texas Pete. All right, thanks for the game, Mr. Polpil. You really messed up on the endgame, okay? So please do some studies, okay? That will help you understand the piece coordination in the endgame. All right, and I want to play c4 here. Trying to get the square. Does this look like a very nice square for potentially, let's say, this? Doesn't it? Can you guys imagine what this position will look like with this knight on d3? My god. That knight will be a knight. A super knight, yeah? I mean, obviously white can try to derail this whole plan. Yes, f4 was something that I was concerned about, so that is true. Very true, Mr. Logic. Very, very true. All right. So I'm thinking, how bad is this exchange sacrifice on f6? Yeah. Is it really that bad? Or are you just bluffing, sir? All right, you know what? I'm gonna play like, you know, like a total, almost like a total idiot. I'm gonna play 98. I'm just gonna hold my structure, and I want to see what you want to do. All right, so let's play f4. We need to open the position up for our bishops at some point. Okay, so let's do it right now. So the idea that I want to do here is just I want to set up this defensive block because I want to keep this bishop locked. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. G6. Okay, you can play G4 probably. You don't have to rush with f4 or 5. But I don't see the problem with G4. Preventing any potential bishop f5 thing. I think it's perfectly reasonable. And also potential h4, h5 is coming. Black position is extremely unpleasant. This bishop on e6 is terrible, man. Which probably should give you an idea how to play this. Okay. I'm not sure if g4 was the best move, to be honest. I mean, probably maybe just bishop b1 or something. Just remove this bishop from this line and then hit the squares there. All right, let's move the king away from the first. Let's play king f2. A very reasonable move. He prevents my knight from moving. Also quite reasonable, sure. And bishop probably to b7 must be played, yeah. Because 95 runs into 94, so bishop b7 looks natural, although bishop f5 looks also pretty natural. So I'm kind of torn between bishop f5 or bishop b7. Actually, maybe bishop f5 is better, but then bishop h4, potentially g4. It's kind of weird, but Alright, so bishop b7, let's protect stuff. Let us protect the stuff. And finally, we can go rook c5, yeah? And hit this guy. Finally. So this endgame is definitely better for white now. We managed to deploy the king, get some squares. Bishops are pretty stable now. And then we can combine g4, f5 break, because this pawn is weakened a little bit. With the play here on the queen side, because of rook b6, then you take on t5 and take the rook. So protecting this pawn is not going to be easy. Because if he pushes this pawn, then the rook goes to the 7th, right? Alright, what am I missing? Mr. Texas Speed is thinking about how to play here. I have a suspicion black is fine. I have a huge suspicion black is absolutely fine there. Because I started all this thing without my king being developed. So that doesn't seem correct. And knight b8. Right, a5, bishop b d2, finally hit this guy. Okay, makes sense. Queen h5, f6, super protect mode. Is a super protection mode. And one of the other things behind knight e8 is that you can now play knight c7 and sort of hit this guy with a knight, leaving your bishop to control important light squares. And then white will have to decide what to do about it. So knight e8 and f6 is one of those super defensive ideas that is sometimes useful. And I have to play rook c1, yeah? Protecting the bishop, also putting the rook on the open file is a must move. It's not a master move, it's a must move. Right, take. Now we reach this position, yeah. I would say pretty bloody critical position. Rook f3. Okay. Okay, rook f3 it is. I mean, g6 looks okay. Knight c7 probably must be played anyway. Since I already said that this plan is gonna be my defensive plan, so I gotta follow up on it, yeah. Now the big question is how I'm gonna play this position. So we have a nice knight on c5, nice bishop here, but he has certain pressure on the king side. For sure. Potentially black will play b5 and try to create counterplay here, but that's potentially right now we have to pay attention here on the king side, yeah. So one of the ideas is to play bishop e8 and kick this queen out. It's just one of the ideas. There's a second idea, which is to run like a Forrest Gump and to run with your king to the queen side, where it's pretty safe. I'm just thinking how dangerous this mating attack here, because I don't see a mate, to be honest. It looks kind of scary though. But the question is it really scary? That's the kind of question you have to decide, yeah? Alright, knight d7. Looks okay. This knight is ready to get here in 2 moves, so white has to do something. Tanade Glishskaki. Hi. Hi. Alright, d4. There's only one move, so don't think on when you have to play obvious move, just play it. Alright. So he plays this obviously to play rook b6 to protect this pawn. Pretty much that's the only reason. But it's good enough. Good reason enough. However, when you play d4, potentially this pawn now gets pretty weak. Okay. And this pawn is actually pretty healthy. So let's grab this pawn. because it's a pretty bloody healthy pawn, and now your bishop gets this free square. And the only question, can black counterattack here? Interesting question, but I suspect that's probably not. Because any opening of the position against the pair of bishops pretty much is suicide. Alright, once again, for those who haven't seen yet, I have done my recap of the crazy game 9 between Ding and Nepo. Nepo and Ding. It was crazy. Great game, actually. Attack on the standard Spanish attack versus creative defense. I still think Nepo missed some good winning chances there, but it was extremely difficult to see all the nuances in a practical game. Pretty impressive the way the players can see still so many nuances. No, it's actually anti-Berlin, but it's not exactly. It's transposition into main slow Spanish game. Okay, b3. Really trying to spoil my whole plan, yeah? This guy plays spoiler. You know what, it's okay. It's okay. Bishop d5, knight c5, or rook c8, or even knight d5 are all possible moves here. Very possible. I can probably even take here, but then I sort of don't have this big plan, knight d3 anymore, yeah. It's gonna be a problem. So let's play rook c8. You see what happens? I sort of managed to get all my pieces into the game. All my minor pieces are developed, my rooks are developed. White plays b4, but that definitely cannot be good because of this diagonal. Hitting a lot of stuff, a lot of pins, so that cannot be a good move. There is no way, Jose, that this move is any good. Rook c6. Okay. Okay. Makes sense, right? He wants just to double the rooks on the c file and etc. etc. So my queen on d4 exactly not the best blockader in the game. So we should probably return the bishop back. It will protect this, but Mr. Tiranmao, I just take your bishop. What exactly was the plan? It's still nice bishop, man. Alright, so now we have to hit this pawn somehow. Probably g4. And try to open up the position. No threats. Maybe knight a4 some points. Maybe. But I don't have a big plan, yeah? I need to improve my position, so probably king g2. Remove the king away. Rook g1. What is thy plan, Mr. Logic? Just want to go g4, g5, I guess. Fair enough. Alright, rook f7 still okay. Yeah, but okay, extra piece, yeah. It's too much. How would I play against Ding right now? I would just continue playing the same way as you did before. You don't change the strategy that is working. If it is working, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Just do the same thing. I mean, it's been 10 games now, yeah? Only, how many games are remaining? How many, let me check. Schedule, wait, information. This format is 14 classical games, so he needs to survive 4 more games. Then Nepo will become the world champ. And unlikely, you know how they say in these introductions, like an unlikely hero appeared and saved the galaxy. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, probably black is okay. Yeah, probably black is completely okay. Yeah, I have a feeling I have to keep my knight on a 5 alive, but what exactly, how good is that for me? Yeah, big question. Because if I take on e7, play bishop g5, I just give up my entire attacking potential. And then there's absolutely nothing for white, yeah. So, but if I play bishop d3, rook g6, he just grabs the pawn. My bishop on d3 is pretty bad. So there is not much I can do actually in this game. Not much I can do. I suspect king d2 has to be played. So let's play that. Uh, 4 games left. Yeah. Tomaszewski and Kuryakin mentioned that they would start just playing for a draw. But, you know, I don't think that's Jan's style. Yeah, I don't think he can do that actually. As much as he wants to try, I don't think Jan can actually play that kind of chess. You know what I mean? His chess is this incredible dynamic positional chaos on board. He is pretty good at this. It's what made him reach this level so far. So why would you start to play in a completely different way, which is not even yours? I don't get it. You know, maybe Tomaszewski and Kuryakin, who have a completely different style than Jan, they just play those boring technical positions. They can get away with it, but for Jan, that's not how he plays chess, and frankly, I'll be very surprised if he starts doing something like that. And I wouldn't recommend it in any case, because that's playing for a draw is like, you know, you're playing to lose. Yeah. So just keep doing whatever works, man. He doesn't have a reason to get worried. Score is good. Everything is good. Alright, knight of 183. Very logical. Very pretty logical. The only question I have, can I play this? Looks kind of weird. But why not, yeah. Knight g3, knight e3 was just winning immediately. Trying to dry out the remaining games didn't work well for Kiriakin. You mean against Magnus? If we go that far, yeah. For sure. Nyholm attack? Never heard of it. It seems like what you're trying to do is basically play like an Italian game or something. Alright, I'm very tempted to play f5, but then I realize I'm actually opening my king. So I'm not sure if this is actually a good idea. I mean, it's very exciting, but then he has g4, f4, g5, yeah. Definitely not something that I want to experiment with. But it was a very interesting idea. But then I shouldn't have played g6, yeah? I played g6 with this idea. That was a pretty bad call on my part. Yeah, I should not have played this. I should not have played this for sure. Right, queen has to move somewhere. Alright, wait, what did I want to do here? I want to play bishop h5, that's what I wanted to do. Knight c5 with the idea of knight b3, I guess, yeah. So that means okay. Alright, very interesting. Very interesting. But I don't understand why I cannot take the pawn. Anyway, why cannot take this pawn? Mr. Domant. Bishop b4, knight b3, bishop 7, knight d4. It's also probably winning, yeah. But why cannot take this pawn? Alright, just, I don't know, a4 maybe even, yeah. Queen h1. Bishop g8 is kind of suspicious, I don't like this move. On the other hand, do you have anything better? Probably not. Yeah, I just play queen e3, yeah. So what is wrong with this line? I have a feeling something is wrong, but I can't quite touch it. Bishop h6 immediately, and then runs into king h7, yeah, so you don't want to play that, but queen e3 looks okay. I don't know why I'm going to this tactical melee. You don't need to, but why not, yeah. I mean, my king should be safer than black king anyway. And this is pretty good threat. Bishop b4 was just very safe and win. Very safe win. Because you trade on c5. And everything works beautifully. Bishop b1. Okay, makes sense. Makes very much sense, but okay, let's play b3. a3, yes, I put my pawns on the light squares, but I kind of locked this bishop out a little bit. I think that's a fair statement. 26. And if I play bishop g6 first, what is the problem? Okay, I don't see the problem, so I'm gonna play it. Because you don't have time, yeah? Okay. You don't got time, man. Alright, good for me. Good for me. I mean, rook f5 is kind of very strange. I guess it's possible. Okay. So after rook takes f2, okay, he decides to go this, but then it's even easier. Yeah, after rook f2, you can either take or play king d3. But now white's just gonna double up on the h file, yeah. Yeah, you can try b5 though, yeah, but I don't know. Also rook g1, g4 looks pretty deadly to me. Because all I need to do is get this queen to h7, right? It's just mate. So, I don't know. Alright, so grab first or not, yeah? Big question. I would say I have to grab this. Then grab this, yeah? Okay, so as I mentioned, rook g1. I'm not scared of this opening because there's just one rook. Just one rook. And in order to get the knight in, so you see what I did? I managed to dislodge this pawn and potentially make this pawn a weakness, okay? That's what we got by this attack of rook, bishops, and pawns. Now this pawn is pretty weak. But you don't attack it with the king, obviously. Yeah, you don't want to get mated. So the king will go back, and then you hit this with the rook. Or you can hit it with this rook. Because now that the rook can move along the fifth, and then you can double on the c file. So at this point, it looks really like white has significant advantage now, yeah? Starting to look this way because black rooks are awfully passive. So that's what I meant, you know, that you got to play this position very slowly. and very slowly but surely improve your position. See, you attack this weakness with the bishop, force it to move, and you got the square, and you attack it again. And then you combine the play here with the expansion here. You need to create second weakness, okay? So king c1 looks pretty bloody good. And the only question is, what is he gonna do? Can he try to connect some pieces? I don't see it. I do not see it. No, just take it, yeah. This is humongous threat. What's up, Mr. Chess Lover? What does this mean? Dried 2 white flowers of Lejeune? It means Ding Liren has only 2 white games left with white, which is his most dangerous play. That's what it means. Tijen is the Ding Liren. Liren. I'm not sure why they call him Liren. It's kind of pretty disrespectful, I think. Alright, Mr. Texas Pete GG. All is well in France? Well, I am staying at home. I'm not moving outside because that's absolutely crazy. I read in the news they had this spoon and fork or pot protest. People came with pots, and it was like, it's a crazy thing, yeah. There were some guys who brought the cows into the protest, yeah. Spray some milk on the policeman. My God, Jesus. Like, the French are very original. Imagine if they bring the cheese to the protest, yeah. Now that's a scary thought. But I suspect that no self-respecting French person would throw a good cheese away. It's just a crime, yeah. But the protests are everywhere. Thank God I live in the small city outside. The garbage piles in Paris that apparently reached astronomical sizes now. I don't know, man. I can almost sense like there is a revolution like brewing, you know? Like, wow. Alright. Alright, so rook h1, yeah. Everything according to the plan. We are ready to play f5, followed by bishop h6. Idea. And you know what happened in the French revolutions? They cut off the king's heads. I don't know. It's, you know, that's one thing about the French that is extremely scary. Sometimes they can become very bloodthirsty. And that kind of scares me. That's pretty much the only thing that scares me about the France. Yeah, they came up with a lot of crazy stuff. Yeah, I mean, French are very scary when they get violent. But okay, there is no actually very peaceful city on the planet right now. Everybody is involved one way or another, right? So Oh, yeah, okay, so if f5, rook h8, then you get the square in e5 for your knight or something, yeah? Okay. So the question is, can I play g5 maybe instead? I mean, you don't have to rush with f5. Yeah, you can probably play it at the most opportune moment. But what is this most opportune moment? Nobody knows. Because if I play f4, his knight really comes into play. That I really don't want to see. But, okay, you know what? For the sake of clear chess, let's try and play it. I mean, I can play bishop e1, bishop f2 and try to hit this guy. Also very, very tempting. But let's go f5. g5, also very interesting. But okay, let's go f5, yeah? I mean, we have pair of bishops. We're supposed to open the position up anyway. So let's do it. Let's do it. Mr. Ivanov, I'm in France. Why do you think I was talking about France earlier? I can't believe that I'm here almost... How long I'm here? I think we came here in 2020, at the end of the 2020. That's 2023, beginning. So I'm here 2.5 years already. I feel so bloody ashamed. I tried to actually take some courses in French and try to learn French, but oh my god, this language is so hard. I actually took some courses. I tried to study, but then, you know, I just forget everything. My memory sucks. Okay, so rook h5. Yeah, I was thinking about this situation. Rook h5 or wait, yeah. Maybe I can improve my position with bishop e4 first. Okay, let's calculate. Rook h5, knight e5, bishop h6. He plays king f7, bishop f4, rook g8. Then I played bishop e5, rook g4. It's a pawn, yeah? It's a pawn. It is a pawn. And if I play bishop e4, he plays knight e5, rook c7, check, and then I take this pawn, which is also a pawn. So both moves look pretty bloody good, you know? Also, let's not forget about bishop d5, because if he trades, your rook gets to the d7, and you get to attack this pawn, but you really don't want to trade unless you really have to. So rook h5 or bishop e4, which one is better? I'm inclined to think bishop e4, just, you know, putting him to Zugzwang is very, very strong idea. But rook h5 guarantees me the pawn. And you know what I think when I get the pawn, right? When I have a chance to win a pawn, I'll like, pawn? Okay. Fine, I'll play bishop e4. Okay, g4. He's trying to pull something on me. I'm not sure exactly what. He's definitely trying to pull something. Alright, let's play b5. I think time has come to play this move, and we have to force the trades and open the second front, second war front. You left the US and never looked back. More or less, yeah. US is the country where I don't have many great childhood memories. The only good memories I have is when I went to college days. I don't have the only good days that I remember. I don't have good days in graduate school. I don't have really good days in anything else. First marriage was pretty disastrous. And then this whole chess thing. And Chess Quest was pretty disastrous. Nope, I don't have good memories, really. Yeah. Slavic is not compatible with Western culture. No, I disagree with that. I moved when I was 13, 14, and I understand. I got this culture. I understand this culture, I understand. I actually like the people. I like the US people. They're very open. A lot of them are, straightforward, open-hearted, kind-hearted people. I like the people. But when you're limited by the four walls of your home, when you're limited by your parents and what you can do, what you cannot do, and you have no freedom for 30 years of life, when you're basically living in a fucking prison, and you want to do something you're not allowed to, it doesn't matter where you live, okay? So I got free, but then it was too late. I made lots of massive mistakes, paid huge price for them. Then when I met my current wife, I felt like I got a second chance at life. It's the only time when I feel happy, actually. The last 7 years with my wife, pretty much the best time. Pretty much. All right, so I think we gotta play bishop f4. There is no avoiding it. Creating bishop c7 threat, taking the square under control. Bishops in the center are crazy dangerous force. Crazy dangerous. They hit both sides of the board. You see how these bishops, they hit both sides of the board. This bishop, they hit bloody everything. This poor knight, he's like, my god, he is overloaded with his defensive tasks. Modern Western culture has changed a lot last 10 years. You better believe it, yeah. I would say there is actually... I disagree with more sensitivity. I think actually in some ways there is less sensitivity. Greed, the corporate greed is way more. Okay. The social media is absolutely crazy. I would say people take a lot more stuff for granted, and there is more of this, immediate. You need immediate reward, yeah. That's what happens, with gaming, yeah. What gaming actually does, which is why it's also not so great, is because, in life you need patience to do things sometimes, yeah. But these days they teach you don't need patience. Just use ChatGPT, it's gonna write you essays, use it to program, look for easy way out, and you get immediate instant reward. And the gaming also about instant gratification sort of thing. Before the age of gaming, even the original gaming, like MMOs, you had to spend hours of camping stuff to get the really good loot, Even then it was not about instant gratification. It was more about investment and reaching awards. And now these days, you get this time-based games, browser web-based games. You wait 5 seconds, boom, You got level 2 city, barracks, whatever, yeah? Crazy. So when you get everything immediately, people kind of stop valuing stuff. And then we have this new culture of instant hate, which is related to this instant gratification, right? People say something, immediately it's widespread. You don't even have time to regret your words, your actions. Boom, everybody's already writing 100 words, 1,000 people writing stuff. Everybody says, you suck, man. All right. Instant stuff. All right, bishop c7 looks good still. Good night, Mr. Ivanov. Thanks you for the sub. Mr. B3I, wow, thank you so much again. Thanks. AI, yeah, but we're not talking we're not even talking about AI. AI is AI is taking this instant stuff gratification to a completely new, different level now. I'm like, oh, we're like in a completely different ball game now. Yeah, I was debating whether to play a4, bishop c7. This seems to make more sense. And you don't have much choice, man. You gotta play this move, I think. Then it's another crazy position, to be honest. And then it is another crazy position. Oh, I have this move. Ah. I didn't even see it. Yeah, I was thinking that after knight b4, I take on b7, then he plays rook a2. And then it's crazy because if he takes on b2, he hits some bishops, he hits this pawn. If this pawn falls, then this pawn falls. But apparently after knight b4, the best move is actually just to play rook b5 and take it with the rook. And that way you hit the knight, you protect this pawn, and your rook gets to the absolute best square on the 7th rank. Remember how we always talk about how the rook should be on the 7th rank, right? And that's what happens. But if you don't take this pawn, then it's b5, pawn gets to b6. You take on b7, this pawn just queens. It's a queen pawn, man. Mr. Scottish Demon Goat, yes, you're way too late. We started like 2.5 hours ago. Usually the Simul start at 9:30, okay? Or doesn't matter if Sunday or not. Hi. Cars driving themselves. Yeah, it was actually a very funny clip on Twitter today. There is like construction and there is a policeman who sort of delegates like which cars have to move, which cars have to stop. But with the Tesla car, you don't drive it, it's a robot driving the car, and the robot does not understand what the policeman is saying. So the policeman is pretty bloody upset. This car just keeps on moving and is not listening to him. At some point the video stops. I assume there is a confrontation. But, the drivers, they show the policeman, they're not driving. The car drives by itself. Yeah, I thought it was pretty weird. But pretty much on point episode, yeah? Do Teslas still catch on fire for no reason? I have no idea, man. I stopped driving the moment I left the US. I started driving first time when I went to law school in 2001. And car actually was my saving guide, because when I stopped earning a lot of money and I had to start playing open tournaments, which tanked my rating, which resulted in even less revenue and less invitations. And in those days where I had to, to seek ways to pay my $1,400 rent in Brooklyn, I was kind of wondering why I'm still living in Brooklyn and paying this rent, But, it was the cheapest place in New York City pretty much, with nice access to JFK in case I needed to fly to a tournament somewhere. It's also home to the Russian neighborhood because I absolutely love Russian food. And, it's Russian communities, so sometimes I socialize. I went on the Russian, dates with the Russian ladies there when I was not married. And it's a 40 minutes drive by subway to the Marshall Chess Club. So I thought it was a pretty good deal. But then you have very few tournaments in the Marshall Chess Club, no tournaments to fly to. And then I realized, it's not really such a great deal as I thought it is. Alright, so bishop f4 probably. The knight still is under attack. He has to move the knight still. And also now the pawn is hanging. So, when I was starting to run out of money, the car was pretty good way to drive to any open tournament in the US, okay? Pretty much. Sometimes, I had to stop because the drive was too long. For example, I like to drive to St. Louis for the US Chess Championship because it's a 3-day drive, leisure drive, where I don't have to rush. But Mr. Logic, why would you give me the whole piece? I don't understand. There is no mate here, no? Is there? Okay, so you do threaten this time, yeah? You do threaten this, actually, okay. So you take on g6 and I play king h8, and then what? Alright, so check. Check. Yeah, so, car was the place where I had to sleep. Instead of sleeping at motel, you can sleep in your car, save money. Like whole $70, $80, which is a lot. Yeah. Alright, and if I just take, and then what? And I take. I can take on h6 also. Take with the rook actually, yeah. The rook is better. Because you can have rook h7. So car was great. But then I just stopped using it. Because car was also a lot of, it requires a lot of maintenance, right? You need the gas. Now it's super expensive, I heard. You also need to, check those brakes. You need inspection done. Car requires a lot of maintenance. Also in New York, there is a street parking rules. And because I always went to sleep late, I always, like half of the time, I just overslept that 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock parking change. So I got a lot of tickets. I think I probably paid a circa around like $3,000 or $4,000 in just tickets alone, which was crazy. Also in the summer, where everybody wants to go to the beach, you're looking at the 3-hour parking search, to get to the beach. Okay, it's like 3 hours to search for parking so you can park your car. I live like 1 block away from the beach, from the beach, which is very nice. Very, very nice to live next to the ocean, but 3 hours for the parking? Really? My God, that was a pain. I actually saw people actually going to the fist fights because of the parking like that. My God. Why not knight takes e4? But if you can take the bishop for free. Do I do autographs? Sure. All the time. But of course it's nice, there's some nice memories. I have some nice memories with chess people, because there's some people in New York that I sort of grew up with, those chess players, both male, female, so we kind of, those nice memories. But now I don't know how they're doing. You get older, you move apart, you move to different places, and pretty normal. Yeah, so I went to the US actually to play in the US Championship a couple of times. I think it was 2017, then maybe 2019, and that's it. And I stopped going there because I quit professional chess. And if you quit professional chess, what's the point of playing? Just to go for the prize money? I would prefer to give this chance to the younger guys to play in this tournament, because there are a lot of very, very strong grandmasters in the US who are, holding all the spots in the Olympic team. They compete for the US Chess Championship title, and there are too many of them. So the youngsters, they have practically no place to practice or to play. Okay, you have like 4 or 5 best players in the world, and they take all the space. So I didn't want to be one of these guys. I mean, they competing for the title, but I just don't want to. I mean, I would rather see guys like Robson, like Christopher, like this guy, what's his name? Like Jeffrey, like get their chance. I'd rather see these guys try. Also, Sevian, maybe some new fresh face actually, All right, Mr. Vitor Jung, thank you for the game. All right, thank you for the game, Logic. Frankly, I thought you were doing okay. See, the position is good. Yeah, but I thought you had to switch. When I played this, now you have sort of an ability to switch to the queen side, and just block all those dark squares. I mean, rook g1 is still good, g4 is okay, but... Oh, you just gave me a knight, You just gave me a knight. You just gave me a whole knight, man. My God. That's the big problem. I think you were pretty okay here. Even rook c1 is okay. Knight c4. And bishop b5. Yeah, you can even play like this. Because my king is kind of wide open. You still have this passed pawn. Center is okay. Your bishop is not so great, but compensated, So you're doing okay, man. But knight c4 just gave me the whole knight. It's the game decider. All right, how many games we still have in progress? We're done. And we have a raid, I guess. We have a raid. Thank you for the subs, Mr. Agnish Koryevsky. Really appreciate it for gifting 2 subs to the community. Thank you very much, sir. You played your best game today, Mr. Checkmates. I'm glad to hear that, but keep improving, okay? You're talking about Levon Aronian. You've seen one ex-world champion shouting at the poor 17 years old amateur. Yeah, okay, but these things happen. You have to understand that, there are sometimes moments when it's just not a good time. And probably this guy just caught this GM at the very, very wrong time. And I'm pretty sure this GM, given time, later he would, agree to do this autograph, no problem. But there was something maybe on his mind, chess players, a lot of chess players, top players, they don't have happy lives. They dedicate their entire lives to chess. There's a lot of competition. To be at the very top is extremely difficult. And it's not really paid that well, compared to any other profession. And also personal life sucks, pretty much sucks a lot for a lot of guys. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was some moment that really, really got on the nerves and he just snapped, I'm surprised that we don't have this person, this, what's his name? The guy who played the Black Rain. He later played a role where he just snapped and he just went on a shooting rampage. Actually, we do actually have that, but mostly among the youngsters in high schools, which is absolutely nuts. Unbelievable. And this trend is actually now spreading to other countries. Yeah. I recently read news that in Russian high schools, same thing happened. All right, gentlemen. Oh, it could be a woman. Oh, I'm sorry. I appreciate the subscriptions and the gifts. I apologize if I refer to you as the man, if you're a woman. But for me, chess has no gender. Okay. The best example is Judith Polgar. And she played man almost her entire life, and that's why she was playing chess at that high level. And sometimes, people are wondering why there is this artificial separation. And the question is mostly centering because if there will be no separation, the majority of women will be left with no prizes at all. And having at least some guaranteed prizes in the women's event is better than having 3, 4, 5 women who are able to compete with men for the top prizes. But then you would have 1,000 women who would be left with no prizes. Right? That's kind of a big problem. It's always like that. It's always interest of few versus interest of many. It's very tough questions. Okay. I don't know. It could be a lot of things. Life is never so simple. Usually there's a bunch of factors mixed in together and you have to figure out how to solve this whole thing. Having now AI join into mix and create more problems is not helpful at all. On the other hand, we saw Elon Musk rocket explode. Yeah, that was a disaster, man. That was a huge disaster. I mean, basically, they built the rocket the same way the Soviets were building the space rocket in the 60s. Just building a huge rocket and then a dome of a starship on top of this rocket. And then they tried to do the same thing and it exploded because, you basically putting this huge fireball right underneath your rocket. Of course it's gonna explode, man. All right. And I read that they didn't have this pathways for the fire to move out. Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, Jesus. Right, I'm not an engineer, but it's just so logical. Okay, But I hope they fix it. They fix the problems, and they can finally send this rocket, because the space exploration needs to be done. In addition to trying to solve the problems here on Earth, so have to. It's like it's like you have pair of bishops in the chess game, right? The pair of bishops, they always play on both sides of the board. So you gotta have both options. You have to have an option of space exploration, colonization of other planets, terraforming, which will happen, and you have another option also simultaneously try to solve the problems on Earth. Yeah. All right, guys. I'll see you on Title Tuesday next week. I'm gonna have Bundesliga, and thank you for coming. Thank you for your support. Once again, if you didn't see this YouTube video for the game number 9, which was not today but yesterday or the day before, here it is. You can see the recap for today's game. It was kind of a little bit boring, but I'll do the recap later, okay? Alright guys, good night everybody. Have a good day, and once again, thank you all for coming. Good night.